Next on BYUSN, which Cougar football players honored this weekend will the Cougars miss the most next season? And why is BYU honoring a total of 34 players on Saturday? We'll tell you. Welcome to BYU Sports Nation, presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. I am Jarom Jordan alongside Spencer Linton. On today's show, Blaine Fowler on which BYU players will miss the most next season. Which players that have eligibility left will BYU need or want back next year? Our completely unbiased Big 12 plus 4 power rankings. And Aaron Roderick's name is thrown out there for a Pac-12 job. Which one? We'll tell you. But first, here are today's headlines.
All right, Jarom, let's go ahead and start it off with BYU football and their road to bowl eligibility. Utah Tech senior night awaits. Kalani Sitake is letting a lot of players be honored before the game. It's just a matter of who is coming back. He says they're motivated to play, but this Utah Tech team, they cannot overlook them. Here's Coach Sitake.
We have incentive for us to play this game too. That's for our seniors and our outgoing players, and then the fact that we can get this win and be bowl eligible. That's the focus. A lot for us to play for this weekend as well.
We also know the BYU at Stanford TV and time, which is on FS1 next Saturday at 11 Eastern. That's p.m. So East Coasters, get a nap for that one.
Terrible start time there. Hey, not so terrible. Dax Milne and the Washington Commanders stun the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. They were an 11.5-point underdog. They win by 11. Milne had one punt return for 12 yards in that Commanders win against the now not so undefeated Eagles.
What a win for the Commanders. That was crazy. Women's Hoops seeks its first win of the season today at 5 Eastern time on the BYU TV app against number 16 Oklahoma. Cougars lost 99-91 in overtime last year in Norman.
Oklahoma returns everyone. BYU returns very few from the roster that played in Norman last year. Women's volleyball moves up one spot in the ABCA poll to number 17 after sweeping St. Mary's on Saturday. They face off at Pepperdine in Malibu on Thursday.
And BYU women's cross country signs 2 runners, Reagan Peterson, Utah's 5A state champ out of Timpanogos and Orem, and Kylie Olson from Skyridge in Lehigh.
All rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending. Senior day for BYU football, just a few days away as they get set to host Utah Tech. What's Trending, as always, presented by Bodyguards, protection for a life worth living. Learn more at bodyguards.com. Let's hear more from Coach Sitake, who says that outside the group of 13, Jarom, whose eligibility is up, there is an entirely other group that has decided, or has to decide rather, if they're going to make the decision to come back.
We have a bunch of guys that have their degree in the hand and have had it for over a year, and so I think that the decision's got to be theirs, and we can give them all the information, but we'll have a more motivated player in the program if this is what they decide to do, if they decide to come back. And I think there's a lot of good reasons to come back, but this is a private decision that they're going to make with their family and their loved ones, and all we can do is give them the feedback and the information on our end.
All right, Jarom, let's continue with Coach Sitake, who would go on to say that, those guys just need some more time to make that decision because it's a big one if they want to stay with BYU going into the Big 12 or if they want to move on to greener pastures.
Making their decision if they want to do that or not. And I think the safe bet for me is just to honor everybody, and then they don't have to make a decision this week, so and there's going to be guys that are just probably going to have the benefit of getting 2 senior days, I guess. But I think that way we don't have to have a decision this week, and we didn't have to have a decision last week. They can take their time in making that decision.
Indeed, time, but eventually the time runs out, Jarom, and you got to make the decision ultimately. My question for you is today, looking forward, other than Jaron Hall and Puka Nacua, which of these guys are BYU going to miss the most the next year going into the Big 12?
Referring to the non graduating. You're done for sure, guys.
For sure. Just the group of guys we don't know about.
Yeah. I would say Blake Freeland and Clark Barrington. Those are two NFL offensive linemen for sure, and on that left side where they've been so good for BYU this year. That'll be a big loss, although I anticipate Kingsley Suamatia will move from right tackle to left tackle, and hopefully he continues the NFL ways of those positions. We think there are at least 3 NFL linemen currently playing for BYU in the starting lineup right now, which is pretty awesome. But the 3 linebackers really stick out. Max Tooley, Peyton Wilgar, Keenan Peely. Those are guys that have a decision to make, certainly. And what we don't always think about is, well, hey, you have a year or 2 left of eligibility. Surely you're playing, right? Well, some of these guys have been at BYU for 4 or 5 years already. They have
throw in the COVID factor too.
Well, that's exactly why they have. Yeah, that's why they have the year. This will affect BYU players, by the way, for the next 2 or 3 years. The guys that were freshmen that year that get the extra year. This isn't the last year we're going, well, I don't know if they're coming back. They haven't decided yet. Maybe they've decided, but it's not public, or they want to hear from NFL scouts, or they didn't have a great season, so maybe they do need to come back. Like, for example, Peyton Wilgar, I think, could be a draft pick if he's healthy all year and plays the way that Peyton can play. This year coming out, he's probably not an NFL draft pick, it feels like. Same with Max Tooley and Keenan Peely, right? Undrafted guys with talent who could make rosters. But I would love to see them next year on this team, healthy, motivated, Big 12. These 3 could be and they were the starting, linebackers at the beginning of the year with Ben Bywater, depending on formation. If BYU's in a 3-4, Ben's in there too. Max had a really nice start to the season with 2 pick-6s in the first couple of games. I would love for these 3 to come back in particular. Obviously, Blake and Clark feel like they're probably gone. But and a guy like Jaron Hall and Puka Nacua, obviously, Puka's interesting because Jaron feels like he's gone. Like, okay, he didn't miss a game. He started the whole year. That was the last box to be checked, sort of, for him, right? Oh, can you play a whole year? And granted, we have a couple more games, knock on wood if you're that superstitious, whatever. But with Puka, it's like, if he was healthy a whole year and had like a 1,200-yard kind of season and 12 touchdowns, feels like a pick. And maybe he's a pick now, but it's hard to know because he missed so many games. Puka is interesting. Like, I hope Puka comes back. I'm guessing he's gone. Because he's just too good. He's just too good. And you don't need a full year of film for NFL scouts to want you, but certainly it helps if you've got certain numbers. But when they look at the film, they're going to see eye-popping stuff.
Oh, he's put together enough on film between what he did last year and now coming on strong at the end of this season that, there's enough there for people to know that Puka Nacua is an NFL receiver who can make those big-time catches in clutch scenarios. And he's got fantastic feet and finds his toes on the sideline and inbounds. Like, the dude's not just making college catches. He makes NFL catches, right, on a regular basis. He's showing that, getting both of his toes down on a regular basis. The thing that intrigues me the most is a guy like Keenan Peely. He was on the roster in Kalani Sitake's first year.
Pre-mission.
He was 2016 BYU football, around when Jake Oldroyd with the green cleats kicked the game winner in Kalani's first game against Arizona. Is he going to be a part of the roster in 2023? We're talking about 7 years because of COVID and mission and redshirt.
And injuries,
Yeah. I would love for a guy like Keenan Peely to come back, and for that matter, Peyton Wilgar, too. Yeah, I think my biggest question mark in this group of unknown guys is what's BYU going to bring back in the linebacking core next year? Because maybe Max, Peyton, and Keenan all decide that it's just time to move on.
Ben Bywater looks around. It's like, where is everybody?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's left in the room besides Ben Bywater that's been a regular in the linebacking core? I've already just assumed that Jaron and Puka, Blake and Clark, those guys are gone.
Those 4. We've talked about them all year.
Those guys are gone. Yes, all underclassmen, but they're all gone. They're all of them are going to have
underclassmen
good draft
athletically.
Not academically.
But because Blake was here in 19, so he's
graduated.
He's 4-year guy.
They're all going to have their degrees. And
most will. Yeah, Blake's 3.5 years in, so we'll see.
So, my biggest question mark then is the linebacking core. We felt so good about what BYU had as a group of linebackers going into this season.
Starters when healthy.
Yes.
But weren't healthy.
Max Tooley's coming up with his pick-6 against USF. They were really strong against Baylor and holding the Bears to under 3 yards per rush. And then injuries set in and maybe a little bit of the other eye that you use, the ineptitude.
They haven't played great when healthy either. That's been tough. And they're capable of much more.
Maybe part of that is a scheme that other teams are figuring out how to play against. And Regardless, I just want to know what BYU is going to bring back at linebacker besides Ben Bywater, because after that, it's, what, Fisher Jackson?
And he's kind of a hybrid D-end.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a walk-on.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like quality player, but...
Is it Josh Wilson? We saw Josh Wilson, Zach Wilson's little brother earlier this year. Is it Tate Romney coming on? Is it going to be a super young core?
By the way, you might see more Tate Romney the rest of the year because he's redshirting, but now he can play in a couple of games to stay under 4. Michael Daly got hurt. He was a guy BYU was high on. Yeah, Tavita Gagne got hurt. They liked him as a backup, right?
Yeah.
There are other guys, up-and-comers, but not you just love when you feel like, okay, we've seen at least something and it was good. It doesn't mean those guys won't deliver or be good next year, but it's just nice to walk into the known part of that.
Yeah, and what do we know? I feel like as far as a position group goes, that's what I will miss the most for BYU football going into the Big 12 is at least that comfort of, okay, well, we know what those guys are, and they should be able to figure it out. Like, they've played big-time football, but if they're all gone and it's just Ben Bywater, then who after that?
Yes, and offensively on the line, I feel great about whoever BYU's plugging in there. I mentioned Kingsley, a left tackle, but BYU's got some guys that they're excited about in Campbell Barrington and Braden Keim and others on the O-line, which is exciting. One question mark I have as well for the defensive side of the ball is like, okay, Malik Moore redshirts. He comes back. That's great at free safety. D'Lo is bouncing. He was one of BYU's best corners this year, granted banged up at times. Are you good enough in the secondary there? Running back, I would have loved to have seen a Jackson McChesney, just what his career could be. I'd love for him to come back. He's had multiple season-ending injuries now. That's tough. Harris LaChance is the other wild card. Harris has been a quality right guard and at times playing out at right tackle when Kingsley's been banged up. He's a guy I would love to see come back as well because he feels like NFL-ish this or next year. So we'll see. And I like the move by BYU because there's 11 or what is it, 13, 11 that we know they're done with eligibility. It's like Lopini, you've got 2 doctorates. Thanks for coming to BYU.
He's probably got 3 blankets, too.
Yes, he's got so many blankets. Shout out to Mickey Couture. But all of the juniors / others, as they're calling them, they're seniors academically. COVID, redshirts, blah, blah, blah. It is interesting. This is the first time BYU's been like, listen, that I understand. We don't necessarily know if you're coming back, but let's just honor all of you. So that pregame, listen, for BYUSN game day, Hema only has probably 90 minutes of content he's got to produce now, and then the rest are lower thirds for all these guys. Oh. You know what? That makes it easier on Hema. We're thinking about you, Hema.
Yes.
I've been there, done that on senior day.
Yeah, and it's not to say that, BYU won't certainly miss Clark Barrington and Blake Freeland on the offensive line, going back to your point on, hey, you're feeling good about what BYU has.
Oh, I'd love to have them back, but they're too good.
Sure. But we feel like BYU has the necessary depth on the offensive line.
At that position only. That's forward. The only position I'm like, sweet, next guy up.
Yes.
And by the way, sometimes people are like, no, don't leave early. Why would you do it? I believe we should want guys to go early and excel in the NFL because that's one of the greatest recruiting tools that you could possibly have at BYU is. Look at Zach Wilson. Leave and be the number 2 pick. Didn't need him back. Get out of here. Go. Be in the NFL. Rep the Y. Come back and be a part of this for the rest of your life. But then recruits go, oh, I want the 4-star plus guys believe they can make the NFL. The 3-stars do too. They're kind of like, hey, maybe I will, maybe I will. The 4-stars are like, I'm going to be in the NFL, at least have a shot. BYU needs to produce enough NFL guys, and I think they're doing that now the last couple of years, which is exciting, to where recruits go, I can go there and make the league. Because if I'm a D lineman, do I want to go to Utah or BYU? Which is going to put me in the NFL? Right now, BYU needs to do a better job of that position. If I'm a quarterback, though, I want to go to BYU because I've seen Zach Wilson, I've seen Taysom Hill, and now I'm seeing that Jaron Hall is probably going to be a draft pick somewhere around 3 through 6 or whatever. Like certain position, linebacker, go to BYU, you're going to get in the league because the best linebacker in the league is Fred Warner and Kyle Van Noy sitting there and others. So it's important that the O-line now establish that. We've not had that in a while. BYU used to produce O-linemen on the reg in the NFL. So this is an exciting time where you see kind of what Garrett Tujay and Mike Empey started, and they've continued now with these guys they've recruited 5 and 6 years ago who are going to be in the league.
Yeah, Brady Christensen with the Panthers,
Yep.
James Empey on a practice squad. Now we expect Clark Barrington and Blake Freeland to be drafted into the NFL.
Kingsley the next year.
4,
Harris
5,
LeChamp.
6, 7 offensive
Let's
linemen
go.
in the league all at the same time together.
BYU, there's Brady Papinga brought it up first. There are certain positions that BYU can recruit easier than others. Quarterback, BYU's always been able to find a good quality quarterback.
Understandable.
But it's tight ends, linebackers, right? And then it's O-linemen to me. That's the pecking order. Tight ends / linebackers, O-linemen should be the best position that BYU recruits. And then to me, BYU, and I mentioned it a moment ago, BYU needs to get in the D-line game better. BYU needs some NFL D-linemen. Kairos Tonga, that's great. BYU's got the one guy, right? And he's on he's dabbled with the 53 now with the Vikings, who are very good. Get back in that game.
Sure.
If you want to, the best way to cover well is have a great defense.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Kalani and E did up at Utah. We have yet to see it down here in year 7. We'll love to see that in the next couple of years. I know they're efforting on getting taller, stronger guys.
Yeah, I mean, the front 7, that remains the biggest question mark. Going into this season, it was, what's BYU going to be able to do on the defensive line? And that question still remains going into next year.
Yeah.
There are a couple of big-time guys in the pipeline that have been recruited. We'll see if they decide to sign with BYU.
And it takes 2 or 3 years. Even if those guys sign now, it takes 2 or 3 years to make an impact.
Some development, yeah for sure.
Yeah.
We need to have the conversation later, too, about, because you said, hey, I feel good about the offensive line. Where do the wide receivers stand in that conversation?
Oh, I feel really good.
Okay, are they right there at the offensive line?
Yeah.
So maybe not the
Keanu Hill,
O-line, wide receiver, O-line. Okay.
Keanu Hill and Chase Roberts, awesome. I'd love to have Gunnar Romney back. He can redshirt this year if he wants. Not sure if he wants to keep playing ball or not, but I would love Gunnar back.
All right, our question of the day in Voice of the Nation is, which one of the players being honored this week on senior/junior/ COVID/ whatever year you are
What do
day,
we call it? Yeah, what do we call it? Bye-bye day?
will BYU miss the most next season? At BYU Fan Sam on Twitter says, since Puka and Jaron are the obvious answers, yes. I'll say Blake Freeland. It's easy to take a great offensive lineman for granted, but he's steadily amazing for a long time. I think him leaving might affect the offense more than we'd like.
We'd like Kingsley to be the guy next year.
At left tackle.
Yeah, and I think he will be. I mean, one of the few 5-stars BYU's ever signed. He's got NFL potential, absolutely, yeah.
J. Law Smith also answers on Twitter, the player I will miss the most is Mason Wake.
Nice.
For his passion, guts, team-first attitude, and for being the best hurdler to wear white and blue since Ralph Mann.
Wow, I don't.
Track and field
nice,
reference?
nice. Yeah, I was going to say track and field.
reference.
I was thinking football, Ralph Mann.
Very
I don't know
nice.
who that is.
Nicely
By the way,
played.
Mason's one of those guys on the junior others list, so he has a chance to come back. I would hope that Mason comes back.
Come on back, Mace.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, join us tonight for BYU basketball with Mark Pope as the coach. Spencer Johnson and Greg Wrubell review the first week of the season, look ahead to this week's games. And Gideon George is in the film room tonight, 8:30 Eastern on the BYU TV app.
Up next, BYU Sports Station game day analyst Blaine Fowler. He's a dual threat guy talking both football and basketball. Will join us to discuss the players he'll miss the most next year from BYU football and give us his take on BYU basketball after 2 games. This is BYU Sports Nation.
When my grandfather started this company in 1947, he couldn't have envisioned what we would ultimately become. We realized that our value to our customers is that we will be there day after day, year after year, doing whatever we need to find solutions to the challenges that they face. We are committed to be honestly better in all that we do, in every opportunity that we have to serve our customers.
good time. Slap! Slap! Meow. Is that bad?
That's pretty good.
I love it!
Wow, you're good.
Everyone says that.
Breaking away.
Receiver there. Touchdown by Nakua.
Puka Nacua, what a season he has been having. Last time, perhaps, Saturday against Utah Tech, live on BYU TV. Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. I'm Jarom Jordan alongside Blaine Fowler, getting ready for an after-further review tonight. Or, excuse me, you guys are off.
Yep, bye week.
Bye week? Nope, taking it off. You're good. JK, go on demand. Watch the previous episodes on BYUSN.com.
We already made our predictions and everything for Saturday.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next Tuesday for you.
Yes, getting ready for Stanford, which is used to be a conflict of interest for you, but now it's not with Dallas, your son.
Yeah, not so much. But Dallas still roots for now. Even Dallas is torn because that's his alma mater, so he roots for him all the time. But he's got Gavin, his brother-in-law, that's coaching at BYU, and so it's like he's almost torn at this point. So
he hasn't signed the conflict of interest.
Yeah, me. I'm not torn.
Yeah,
I'm not torn anymore.
No, absolutely, because they're paying you.
That's right.
Okay, let's talk about what we were just talking about, Blaine, which is we've got a unique senior day situation. There are a handful of guys who we know are out of eligibility. There are other guys who are juniors and others. COVID and whatnot has resulted in a massive list of 34 dudes that BYU is going to honor. Who are you hoping comes back next year realistically? Because obviously we could say Jaron, Puka, Blake, and Clark. That'd be great. Chances are
Should we just throw those ones off?
They're probably gone,
throw
right?
those off. Yeah, I think that those four are especially with. I thought a couple weeks ago maybe Jaron comes back because they're having a bit of a struggle. He was trying to recover from the shoulder, and even though he says and the coaching staff says, oh, he was fine, the throws we saw him making last week, we didn't see him making 2 weeks previous or 3 weeks previous. And so clearly, whether he thought it was or not, that was affecting his play. And he was also looking a little bit tentative running the ball, and I think he was probably getting instructions just, hey, do not get hit, don't hurt that shoulder, and it affected his play. At that time, he wasn't looking like an NFL guy. He looked like an NFL guy again next week. I think these next two games are really important for him. If he can come out and pick up where he left off last week and then go against Stanford and have a really good game and have a good bowl game, I think he's right back there, drafted in the early rounds, and he's out. And I do think that Barrington and Freeland are probably out as well. There's a lot of talk around that. And then Puka, can we blame him for going out?
No,
he's not.
He's amazing.
He's not just an NFL wide receiver. He's a starting NFL wide receiver. Like, he's that good. He's going to be in the league as long as he can stay healthy for a long time. He's got that skill set and he's got the mentality, and that he loves the grind, but he enjoys the grind. He's like a gym rat in football. And those kinds of guys with his skill set make it, and I think he will. So those four are gone. There's some curious ones on the list. Ones that I think Max Tooley's coming back. Just from what I'm hearing. And, Kalani's philosophy on this is, hey, with the COVID and all that, it's just been so strange. Anybody that has been here that amount of time, we want to make sure they get honored. Even if somebody's telling us they're coming back, we want them to be able to be honored, have their family there, get their blanket, and do all of that. What if they decide in the offseason they're either not going to play football again, or they've decided they're going to go on? We just want to ensure we don't miss anybody, but we're leaving the door open for anybody as well. I think Max is one of those. I think that he comes back. Keenan Peely, I think, could go one way or the other. I think he should come back. I think he still has more to prove out on the field.
Amen.
And I think that if Max and Keenan come back and can stay healthy for a whole season next year in the Big 12 and show that they can compete at that level, then all of a sudden there's a possibility that they both get drafted. I don't think either is a draft pick at this point, and it's a really, really long haul to try to make it as a free agent signee. And, I think some people learned that the hard way from this BYU team, last year and the year before that went out, that could have been back playing with this team. So those are a couple that I think. What about Peyton Wilger? I think Peyton's going to go. I think he has that mindset right now. I think Peyton could absolutely benefit from coming back as well. But I think that he's more set on ongoing just from the things you hear coming out. And he's got that.
And he's okay being perhaps undrafted because I'm not sure with the season. I think he'll crush the combine.
Yeah, I think because his combine numbers will be really good.
I'm just wondering if he could become a pick more surely next year.
Well, the same thing goes for him that I mentioned for Max and for Peely. If he could come back in the Big 12 against that level of competition and shine and stay healthy, I mean, that's the issue for all these guys is their ability to stay healthy.
That was Jaron's thing this year, Blaine, was can you play a whole season without missing a bunch of games? And Jaron has checked that box until this point.
Right. And he even showed that he could play with a nick, you know.
Yep. Played through it.
Yeah.
And you're playing through a throat.
Yeah, and I know.
Just cough it out.
Just cough it up.
During games, we have a cough button.
Yes.
We have a little box.
Push
it. We don't have it in this situation, so Blaine battling through that.
Yeah, so Gunnar Romney is another one that's on that list that is, you know, I think he's an NFL talent, but he just hasn't even played this year.
Does he? I mean, he has a chance to redshirt and return
he would
if
have
he
to
wants.
get he would have to get a COVID year in a 6th year.
Well, he hasn't used a redshirt, Blaine. This could be straight redshirt.
That's true because he's got COVID and redshirt.
Yes, he could just straight redshirt.
He's the one that's the most curious to me. How healthy can he be, and how can he look in the combine? Because he's certainly got film, but this is 2 years in a row, and it's been fluke stuff.
Yeah.
Right, just the weirdest kind of injuries, like not oh he's not durable, just strange, you know, weird types of things. You fall on the football and injure a kidney, you know.
In day 3 of practice in August.
It's just such a strange thing, and so you look at him.
And those numbers are just off the charts.
And
those are fantastic numbers over his career.
It's going to be interesting. Kalani will ensure that all of these guys, especially guys like Gunnar and guys like Keenan, get with the right people in the NFL that can level with them and say, listen, this is where our team is projecting you. This is where other teams. This is the consensus on what you're doing. You're not going to improve your stock at all. I remember talking to James Empey last year, and James was told, you're probably a free agent guy, but that's all you're going to be next year. And James was looking, going, man, I've been hurt a bunch. I'm getting older. I need to try to do this. This has been my dream. If I don't make it, I'm okay with that. And I after talking to him, I'm thinking, okay, he made an educated decision to go do that. I think some of these guys that we've mentioned, when they have the conversation will be, with the injuries and the way you played this year, you're not going to be drafted. You probably can sign as a free agent. If you come back next year and can stay healthy and can have these types of numbers, you could move into being a drafted player. And then I think you've got to go, oh, man, is there an NIL deal there for me that brings me back? Is there an insurance policy that I can get that ensures that I don't get hurt? If I do get hurt, that I don't lose everything? And can I move myself up? Because if you're drafted, especially if you're drafted in the first 4 rounds, and especially in the first 3, you're going to make the team in the first 3 rounds. If you're an undrafted free agent, you're a long shot from the get-go, and that's the issue. So I think those conversations will be had in the offseason, and some of these guys on that junior list are curious. There's another one that's on that list that I'm almost certain is coming back. So I think Max is coming back. I think Malik Moore's coming back.
Yeah. Redshirted to come back.
And so he
made a choice to not play.
Yeah, he broke that hand.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you're going to be out 8 weeks. And then it was, wait a minute. So I've played less than 4 games. I come back for a game or 2 at the end of the year. I can't show what I have. I need to come back next year.
Straight red shirt.
And so it's a straight red shirt for him. He's on that list for the reasons we talked about, but he's coming back. Malik's coming back. And I truly believe Max is coming back. And some of these others are iffy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and they have a few months, right? They don't have to figure that out for a
Harris
while.
LaChance is one that's on that list.
Yes, I would love for Harris to be back because he would anchor, I think, right tackle next year.
Yes.
With probably Kingsley over at left tackle.
And I think Harris has a chance to move up, right? He's playing in the shadow of Blake and of Clark, right now.
At right guard.
I think he has a chance to shine and play tackle and get stronger, and so I think that Harris has a chance to really improve his stock. So that's somebody I would like to see come back that's on that list. So we'll see. Those I think Keenan, I think Max, I think. Well, Gunnar is really curious, right?
Interested to see, because Baylor had a year of eligibility, chose not to.
Right.
Wouldn't be surprised if Gunnar was like, I'm just done with football.
Yeah.
This has been too much. Who knows?
Here's the thing about Gunnar, though. Gunnar loves football. Some guys, like, it's on their face. Puka, everybody knows Puka just loves football, right? He just loves it. He loves the whole process. He loves practice. He loves all of that. Gunnar is that. Gunnar loves football. And so you would have to love it to come back and do that, right? And,
yes.
And so, but I think in his heart, he loves football. He's that kind of a guy that missed it when he was hurt and was out. And so that's what gives me a sliver of a chance that maybe he comes back and says, let's do this again and let me stay healthy and not have these fluke injuries.
Okay, we'll find out. Blaine Fowler joining us here on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk hoops. Obviously a disappointing loss, although not unexpected per se, Friday at San Diego State, where BYU leads for 31 minutes, plays a really nice game. Unfortunately, the last 5, San Diego State takes over there. Now, Missouri State, which is a sneaky game Wednesday. That was a 6-point game on the road last year. BYU won. And then Nichols out of Louisiana coming in Saturday. And then it's the Bahamas for 3 tough ones. What does BYU need to accomplish this week, and what are your takeaways after 2 games?
My takeaways are that this team has skills. Like, it's a very skilled basketball team. And I've been watching him in practice. And I know it didn't show up in the first game, the shooting, but I think this is a team that's going to, before it's all said and done, shoot the ball really well. Right now, they're all trying to grasp a new concept in how they play. And they're going to play really fast. This team's going to be really fun to watch because they're going to pressure on D, and they're going to run up and down the court, and they're going to play fast. And that's not how all of these guys have played, whether they transferred in or they're returning. So this is new. They've got to figure out, and this old saying that we use all the time, how to play fast without being in a hurry. So get up and down the floor, push the basketball. When it's time to take a shot, you take a good shot and you take enough time to be fundamentally sound. That's why I think they're missing shots early. I think they're rushing some shots. But in that San Diego State game early, all of a sudden I was going, oh, they're playing fast against a team that's got a lot of length and talent, and they're knocking down some shots, and they're taking care of the ball. But before the game was over, that old bugaboo that they had in the first game came back, and they turned the ball over too many times.
20 turnovers again.
Yeah, and so to me, that's the biggest single issue right now, figuring out how to play fast without being in a hurry. When you're in a hurry, you make bad decisions and you turn the ball over. When you're in a hurry, you don't get set, you don't stay fundamentally sound, you don't knock down shots. I saw flashes of big improvements in the San Diego State game against better competition, but they've got a ways to go. And Mark Pope told us it's going to be a team in progress. And so far, I think they're ahead of where I expected it based on what Mark told us to begin with. I think Rudy Williams is going to settle in and be really good. I really do. I feel like he's been really rushed.
Yes, 12 turnovers first 2 games.
Really rushed.
Yeah.
But when I look at his skill set, once he figures out the speed and the length of the game at this level, I think he's going to be really, really good. You watch him develop. It's going to take another couple of games, but I think he's going to settle in, and we're all going to go, wow, that was a really good transfer.
This week could be that week to settle in because next week you have USC, and then you're staring at Kansas, Tennessee, Dayton. There's a really good crew of quad 1 opportunities there for BYU. And it's interesting, Blaine, because just what we saw against San Diego State was like, okay, this team can hang, right? This team can play. And I don't know that we expect this team to make the tourney, and that's why we weren't, like, devastated Friday. But it was like, hey, step in the right direction. Unfortunately, lost a game you probably could have won. And here's how big the game was, Blaine. Gonzaga and Michigan State play on the aircraft carrier. Jay Billis and Seth Greenberg over there. They go over to Viejas to go watch this game. And Bill Walton showed up.
Yeah, it's
a little puff of smoke, some incense.
And I think they did enough for the national pundits. Was that what we call them?
Sure.
To go, hey, this team there's a lot of new faces. This team might be better than we thought it was going to be. And they recognize there's so many new faces that they're going to have a hard time melding together at first.
It's college basketball.
Yeah.
Everybody's got like half a new
squad.
Yeah.
Well, without penalty for transferring and all that. It's just crazy every year, right? Transfer portals change the game. And so I felt like in the San Diego State game, they made great progress. And I kept waiting for them to fall apart. Is that terrible that I was waiting for them? I'm like, they're playing so well right now, but down the stretch, do they have enough guys that have played together for long enough to understand who is supposed to handle the ball in the clutch situation down the stretch, who's supposed to take the shot, who's supposed to deliver the assist, and how they're supposed to communicate defensively and get stops? And I just was doubting it. I'm like, it's too early in the season for that to happen. Maybe it's my fault.
Well,
I think it's my fault.
No, I don't. I'm not that superstitious. But I did feel like, shoot, BYU shooting 55% or whatever it is, and they're up by 4.
Right.
And the turnovers were a big deal. Also, fouling, sped up and fouling resulted in 20 more free throws and 16 more makes, which BYU offset by made threes, by the way. But the turnovers feel like a controllable element, Blaine.
Right.
It's not like shooting is like shoot. That's a skill-based thing. Turnovers is like, hey, take care of the ball. Only have 14 or 15 turnovers. You win that game, which is exciting.
Yeah, and they're going to get used to playing like this and continue to get in better shape. Because I think you foul when you get tired, and I think fundamentally they foul when they reach. So when they're in a hurry, and this is something that's really, really coachable. It's like, hey, stay in this position. I don't want any more of this, right? If you're going to swipe up, stay long, play defense with your feet. When you get tired, you've got to focus to play position defense with your feet and slide and not reach. So you get tired, you keep your feet in place, somebody starts to go by you, and then to try to stop him, you reach out and you contact. Or you're tired, you don't have great footwork, the guy turns the corner on you, and now you follow him on his way to the rim. As they get more used to playing defense with one another, the help's going to be there faster, they're going to anticipate better. They're learning a whole new system on both ends of the floor. And so I have great hope that they're going to be able to control the fouls. They fouled way too much.
Yeah, 26 fouls against San Diego State. Okay, Blaine, no AFR tonight, but join Blaine, Dave, and Spence, and Ty and I tomorrow night at 8 Eastern time as we get you ready for BYU and Missouri State. Game on BYU TV at 9 Eastern time. Coming up, should BYU fans be worried about losing Aaron Roderick in the offseason? What one report threw out his name for a Pac-12 job. We'll tell you who. This is BYU Sports Nation.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
BYU Food to Go's convenient location at 2191 North Canyon Road in Provo makes bringing popular BYU foods to your next event easy. Everything's ready when you need it at the drive and load pickup. You drive in and they load no matter the weather. And stop in the on-site creamery for great BYU chocolate milk and ice cream. BYU Food to Go, bringing campus to your table. Call for details, 801-422-5001.
If you're looking to build your brand awareness and increase market share as BYU moves into the Big 12, this is the place, BYU Athletics. We can provide the tools you need to make sure your company is seen and heard. BYU Athletics is where you can align your products and services with loyal fans that cheer for our Cougars. And they can also help your business win. Learn more about what a partnership with BYU Athletics and your company will look like. After all, this is the place. Email sponsorship at byu.edu today.
Dexter & Dexter is a full-service law firm offering a wide range of legal services. Since 1995, we have helped more than 20,000 Utahns both to navigate life's challenges and to make the most of life's opportunities. From auto accidents to criminal defense, and from bankruptcy to family law, we are passionate about shouldering your burdens. To learn more about scheduling a no-obligation consultation, visit dexterlaw.com.
Familiar with the BYU TV app? Yes.
I beg your pardon?
Sure, it's got great original TV shows. But it also gives you access to family films for free.
Wow. Awesome!
So gather around, grab some popcorn, and let us do the rest.
It'll be fun.
Watch some of your favorite films anytime, anywhere. With the free BYU TV app.
I like it.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. Follow the show on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok.
He is Jarom. I'm Spencer. You know what time it is. Let's whip it. Cougar Whip Around presented by Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner.
Spence, ESPN's Adam Rittenberg mentioned Aaron Roderick as a name to watch in the search for a new head coach at Colorado next year.
Wow.
Would you be surprised if A-Rod got a head coaching job next year?
I would for next year, just because he got locked into a contract. Kalani wants his guys around going into the Big 12. I'd be shocked.
Spencer.
Shocked if A-Rod left with BYU headed into the Big 12 as one of Kalani's
Okay,
guys.
the Big 12 thing, yes, but contracts, you
Sure,
get out.
I know your big thing is contracts can always be broken.
Every
for
single
sure.
one.
I feel like Aaron Roderick is loyal to Kalani Sitake and would not leave him high and dry going into a Power 5 conference.
I don't know that he would be disloyal taking the job, though. If you have, unless he wants to be a lifelong coordinator. I don't know if he has head coach aspirations or not. Most do. I don't know. I wouldn't call him disloyal. If
You know
he
who
took a
I
head
think
coaching
really
job.
is going to get the head coaching job at a place like Colorado next year? Bronco Mendenhall. I think he's probably at the top of the list and would be the best thing that the Buffaloes could ever hope for in terms of a head coach, if not Nebraska or Wisconsin. But that A-Rod specifically for Colorado would shock me. I just feel like it's a little too soon. I don't know. Do you differ than my opinion?
Well, I don't know what A-Rod's aspirations are and Colorado's wants and desires. Perhaps they want a guy like Aaron, but is he a mild candidate at least a bunch of places? Sure. How serious of a candidate is he? I can't speak to that very
And to your point, it's not disloyal for sure if he leaves, but there is that feeling like I gotta stay with Kalani. Like there's just that feeling there, even though it's not disloyal.
Everyone feels that way until you see the offer of a certain amount of dough, right? Sometimes that can change.
BYU at Stanford will kick off at 11 p.m. Eastern. Not 11 a.m., thankfully. Not a morning game. 11 p.m. Eastern.
Can you imagine 8 a.m. Pacific?
On FS1. Do you like that late of a kickoff for the Stanford game?
It's not about the kickoff time. It's about being on FS1 where you can get a little more exposure, right, than the Pac-12 network. I thought that was a win. I don't necessarily care about the night part, although kind of, because BYU's a way better team at night than they are during the day randomly.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't know that I like that it's so late. I mean, I thought the latest that BYU was going to play is like, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, but now we're pushing it back to 9.
8:15. Sorry, Pacific?
Yeah, Pacific, right. Yeah. Like, it's really late. Like,
why are we not used to this in year 11?
I don't know.
Shouldn't we expect BYU's going to kick locally at 8-ish a lot if it's Mountain or Pacific time because of TV windows?
Right? This is 9 Mountain.
Right, and 8 local time. Like,
I didn't think it would get any later than 8:15.
Like Nephites and Lamanites were worried about kick times for football games. Like, this is the thing that we should understand this by now, right? Like, in the Big 12, we'll probably kick at home a lot at 8:20 local.
Which I'm fine with.
It is what it is.
I just think 9 p.m. local time is a little too late unless you're playing in Hawaii.
Well, local to Mountain. It's not local to the game. Like, yeah, whatever. It's 8 local. Okay.
Doesn't the scheduling
It's the Eastern time zone homies that it's tough for, right?
Yeah.
And Central.
Yeah, the Eastern time zone fans are going to be until 3 a.m. watching BYU Sports Nation game days.
They'll be up. They'll be up watching, Spence.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you buying the following? Zach Wilson has a current higher QBR than. This is tweeted by Joel Moran. I'm not going to say moron, but that's what it looks like. Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. He ranks 18th in the league despite facing top 10 defenses on average through 6 games. I thought he was a bust. Are you buying that Zach is a top 18 QB in the NFL?
Not right now. I'm surprised to see that his QBR is better than Kirk Cousins and Kyler Murray specifically.
Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback.
Vikings are awesome right now.
They're 8-1.
Yes.
So
I would argue perhaps best team in the league after the Eagles lost it.
There has to be some deficiencies in the QBR, and there are. Yeah. Like every statistic has, deficiencies. Not everything is perfect. Oh, QBR, if he's got a better QBR, he automatically is a better quarterback.
It's one metric.
No.
It means something. But
this is not a shot at Zach. He's still young. He's still learning the game. He's still sped up at times, but no. I don't think Zach is better than Kirk Cousins and Kyler Murray right now. Aaron Rodgers, for crying out loud? He's a better QBR than Aaron Rodgers.
The Packers aren't good, but Aaron Rodgers had a nice performance Sunday, right?
Sure.
Against the Cowboys. Yeah, Zach's got some issues right now that he's got to work through. He has 4 passing touchdowns, 5 INTs, sacked 12 times, 6 games. His TD and interception percentages, by the way, are the same, very similar to last year. Still sub 60% completions. Jets are winning sort of in spite of Zach's offensive play. He's trying to take care of the ball and let the run game and the defense win the game. When Zach figures it out, boom, Jets fly up.
Sure.
Right? And they don't challenge the Bills, but they're certainly a playoff team.
We've seen those moments.
Although, in the final part of the season here, I'm worried. At New England, Chicago, at Minnesota, at Buffalo, Detroit, Jacksonville, at Seattle, Miami. I've got 3 wins in the next 9 for the Jets. That's tough.
Well, they just beat the Bills, so I mean, maybe there's a sneaky win in there again. Their defense is
Perhaps.
so good that they could probably win one of those games.
They've got to win 4 to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I see 3 wins.
Got to get to 10 and 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Okay, coming up, 6th seed BYU women's soccer plays 3 seed Stanford Thursday in the second round of the NCAA tournament at 2 Eastern. You can listen to it on the BYU radio app. That is in North Carolina. They likely get the Tar Heels if they win.
Did BYU football fall in our latest Big 12 plus 4 power rankings? And which new Big 12 team is potentially staring at a New Year's 6 bowl game? TCU's going to the CFP if they keep winning. This is BYU Sports Nation.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner.
Utah is a special place. Our communities, the people, the history. There is no place quite like Utah. At Siegfried and Jensen, we're honored to say that we are from Utah. We live here, work here, and when someone is injured, we're proud to say we've helped a neighbor when they've needed it most. We know Utah. At Siegfried and Jensen, we're here for you.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork offers a large inventory of Ford vehicles, including a selection of cars and trucks, providing a range of transportation choices. From the Ford Fusion sedan and the Edge crossover SUV to a range of pickups including the F-150. Each product line comes with options to enhance performance, comfort, and safety. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
Trio Orem Senior Living believes in empowering seniors to live life to the fullest. We help eliminate stress out of daily life when you live at Trio. Less time focusing on housework means you can socialize at one of our many events, with safety in mind, of course. And did we mention our spacious apartments with modern amenities? Learn more about setting up a private tour at trioorem.com.
This is your guys' song. You deserve...
Our goal, 50,000 books in the hands of children.
Okay, and I can help. Why do you do this? What do you get out of this?
It needs hope, and you need to show that little bit of love.
When you lay down your head. People come here one way, and they change while they're here. It was so great to be a part of it.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation live from Studio B. Let's roll it out. New week, new set of our totally unbiased Big 12 plus 4 power rankings as we move into week 11. And not surprisingly, at the top of the list, Jarom, are the undefeated TCU Horned Frogs, who have a legitimate shot at making the college football playoff. Your BYU Cougars all the way down at number 10. They drop one spot in that ranking, just below Texas Tech and ahead of Houston, Iowa State, West Virginia, and Oklahoma. Let's count down 2 through 8 as well. Kansas State just behind TCU.
Agree with that.
UCF at number 3. They're 8-2. They just beat a ranked Tulane team. Should jump them in the college football playoff poll tonight.
Already beat Cincinnati as well.
Yes, good wins. Oklahoma State, Cincinnati at 5. Baylor's
Oklahoma
number 6.
State at 4?
Not buying that. And neither am I.
No,
neither am I, given what they have done the past 3 weeks.
Spencer Saunders not in there, and they got crushed by Kansas State. Lost to Kansas as well. Not buying them at 4.
They won last week, but it was pretty ugly. Texas, Kansas, and Texas Tech 7, 8, 9. Again, just ahead of BYU. Okay, any surprises for you other than Oklahoma State? For me, the other big surprise is UCF at number 3.
Yeah, UCF's interesting. Perhaps we're putting them high because ranked, and probably group of 5 best option there. They're going to surpass Tulane in the college football playoff rankings tonight, we think, because they just beat the Green Wave. And by the way, AAC, pretty interesting situation with Cincinnati, Tulane, UCF, all 8-2 overall, all 5-1 in league. UCF beats Cincinnati and Tulane. They're certainly going to be in the AAC title game. Things we care about just because they're going to be in the Big 12 next year, hence the segment. But Cincinnati and Tulane still have a game coming up to finish the regular season. So basically, winner of that one goes to play UCF for potentially the G5 spot, because no one else is really challenging. That P6 moniker certainly applies here. And if and when the college football playoff goes to the top 6 champs, right? AAC's got to feel good about their chances. Obviously, they're going to lose 2 of the top 3 there, with Tulane emerging this year.
You know who are very, very similar in this poll? Kansas and BYU. Both got off to red-hot starts.
4-1, 5-0, game day.
Kansas had their quarterback injured in that game against TCU, which was super unfortunate.
Yep.
They haven't really been the same since that moment, since game day showed up.
They peaked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they peaked early, like BYU
beat
did.
Oklahoma State later. Nice win.
Okay.
Former top 10 team. Oh, by the way, BYU's top 10 win. Baylor.
Yep.
Who hasn't been the same.
Kansas is 6-4. BYU 5-5. Kansas 8. BYU 10. I would love to see those 2 teams play a bowl game against each other. I think that would be highly entertaining.
I'm okay with no Big 12 future homie, because we're going to play those games. I would like to play somebody else.
Like Coastal Carolina?
Well, Coastal's the pie in the sky, yeah. But somebody else. By the way, the super ranking, super high on Texas still. I don't know why.
Why?
8. 8? What? TCU and Kansas 10, UCF 20. By the way, BYU, the lowest ranked team in the super ranking composite of 7 metrics that I look at and just take an average, 66. But in terms of like top 40 teams in the league, just crazy amounts. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the top 40 in the super ranking out of the Big 12. That's good ball there. Although TCU is the only playoff hope because everybody else is kind of out of it.
I love the Oklahomas at 14.
Oklahoma's last in our list, yeah. 26 in the super ranking. Oklahoma's not good. What is that?
I kind of feel bad for Oklahoma fans because they were hoping that USC would be terrible and that they would figure it out with a new coach, and the exact opposite has happened.
Yeah,
Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams are doing their thing.
Yes.
They've got a shot at the college football playoff.
Yes.
And Oklahoma is 5-5 and 2.
They've had a lot of issues, but I said I'm not a Dylan Gabriel huge fan. I think he's good. I just don't think he's great.
Wow. I think, like, if BYU and Oklahoma played today, I like BYU's chances to beat Oklahoma. Maybe that's a bowl
game. Hopefully we get Oklahoma in the Big 12 first year. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, hey, opener in Provo. That's what I said. BYU women's basketball hosts, hey, speaking of, 16th ranked Oklahoma today at 5 Eastern. Watch the game live on BYU TV's app.
Yeah, the Cougars is definitely the underdog in that one in our women's basketball power poll.
Yeah. Coming up in the F block.
Well, coming off the heels of a revenge win for BYU women's soccer, we look at this fall's top 5 revenge wins. And yes, there are 5. It's been a vengeance tour for the athletics department here this fall. This is BYU Sports Nation.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
Introducing the truck for adventure. The all-new 2022 Nissan Frontier doesn't compromise on power or comfort. This midsize truck was redesigned to incorporate the latest technology and designs for safety, comfort, and convenience. Plus, with up to 6,700 pounds of towing capacity and best-in-class horsepower, it's rugged enough for adventure and still safe enough to transport all your favorite people. Where's your new Frontier? You'll find it at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown and South Jordan.
I was 4 years old when I left Zambia. My dad was born in Sheila, in the south of Italy.
My mom is from Slovakia. We haven't really talked about it, never, not once.
My dad doesn't really talk about his life in Serbia. I just really want to know who he is. And then discover who am I.
Can you do something for me?
I'm the sort of girl that Mallory Towers can be proud of.
Something must be wrong. You need to get help. You did it! No, we did it.
Thank you all, and for making me proud to call you Mallory Towers girls.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
The show is on demand. Download the free BYU TV and BYU radio apps and subscribe, rate, and review the podcast.
On the heels of a major revenge win for BYU women's soccer last Friday night in the NCAA tournament against Utah Valley, we thought today is a perfect day for Top 5 Tuesday to feature the top revenge wins this fall, and there have been 5. You bet. Start us off, Jarom.
Number 5, women's soccer beats Utah 2-1 after a scoreless draw last year in the 78th minute. Olivia Wade scored to put the Cougs up 1-0. Then Utah off a corner kick in the 89th. Ricochet, grounder and in. And then 52 seconds later off the corner, Olivia Wade with the game winner as BYU took down the Utes in dramatic fashion.
Look at the student section behind the goal. Amazing.
It was a crazy night, man.
That's electric. Taking some liberties. It was a tie last year, but still, it's revenge. Number 4, even a 2-hour weather delay couldn't stop the Cougars from taking the Bulls by the horns in a 50-21 revenge win against USF. Revenge why? Remember 2019 when USF beat BYU in Jaron Hall's first career start, knocked him out of the game with a concussion? Well, concuss this. In Tampa, Puka Nakua's house call and Jaron's excellent play, coupled with Max Tooley's pick 6, led to an impressive revenge win for the Cougs.
Number 3, football's 26-20 double overtime win versus the Baylor Bears in early September. The Cougars got worked last year, 38-24 in Waco. This time got a top 10 win at home for the first time since Miami in 1990. Field storm, celebration, throw was into the field goal post, and there was much rejoicing.
At number 2, and now we hit what prompted this Top 5 Tuesday. After falling to Utah Valley 4-2 in the beginning of September, BYU women's soccer hosted the Wolverines on Southfield and won a 9th consecutive NCAA tournament match on Southfield, 3-0, no doubter to move on to the second round, where they will meet Stanford in the NCAA tournament.
And number 1, BYU football's 31-28 win at Boise State in football a week and a half ago.
Yes!
Puka Nakua's 2 touchdowns were both awesome, and the game winner was incredible. Hinckley Ropati, nice game as well in the screen game, and the Cougars took down the Broncos.
Oh, so good to beat those guys after they ruined some significant New Year's Six chances for BYU last year.
And we did the same in 2019.
Indeed. It's what happens in that game. So maybe it's a good thing it's not being played anymore. Which one of the players being honored this weekend for BYU football will you miss the most next year? Our Elite Voice of the Day presented by PAX. Healthcare Elevated at N_Crowley19 says, unless one of the other players is a family member / best friend, the only right answer is Puka Nakua.
There you go.
Today's Rise to Shadow presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics. But to the Marriott Center crew for taking down the devotional setup and getting ready for women's basketball at 3 p.m.
Rushed.
Lightning turnaround. Thanks to today's guest, Blaine Fowler.
Sorry to Dennis, no time.
For Jarom, I am Spencer. Shout out to Morgan Bailey. We'll see you tonight for BYU basketball with Mark Pope at 8 Eastern on the BYU TV app. Go Cougs.